Today is about more than just this Wolverine action figure from Mondo. There's also something really important that I need to show you today, and that's a way to resolve some of the issues we have with Mondo figures. Namely, all those extra head sculpts. So stick around, look at this Wolverine, and see what I'm talking about with that special surprise. This is also about redemption, because the last time I looked at one of these guys, I was not so happy with it, and I got rid of it, and I thought it was a doo-doo thing. But this time, I'm pretty confident that they're gonna hit all the right marks. And why? Well, that's because of the people on the bottom of this box. On the back of this box. Namely, this guy. Alex Brewer, and I guess Tommy Hodges as well. Tom Rosachowski and Hector Arce, Dan Wiesemeyer doing the artwork on the front of the box, and then Jordan Christensen doing the packaging. These are the people that make the best animated series X-Men figures on the market. There is no other option for these guys that looks this good. I have loved the X-Men line with Jubilee and Drogue and Gambit and everybody else, but the Wolverine did stand out as a bad one. So I am so thankful that they redid it. If you open the flap, there's a little bio thing that you can read about this guy, and then right here you would have a view of the figure, but I already took it out. So, you know, now you just get a shot of the inside of the box, and that's okay. There are two thick layers of goodies. Now, Mondo, they're expensive. I know, I get it. This was a very hefty price tag, and this was before all the tariff things, so it wasn't as bad as they are now. If at some point you like this Wolverine and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna buy it, you can go onto Mondo's website right now and get the regular version. This is the timed edition. So this is an important lesson today, that if you like what you're seeing here and you want to buy future things from Mondo without missing out on the timed exclusive items, well, that's the lesson. What is it? There was nothing else. Follow them. Let's start with this extra layer of stuff. As you can see, this timed exclusive comes with some solid accessories and add-ons, bonuses, things like that. The limited edition pin. So if you're a pin collector, then this is going to be something that really suits your fancy. And they have done exclusive pins like this for different conventions like New York and San Diego Comic-Con. This is a stand piece we've seen in the past. It's pretty standard, and the base for it is in that guy. And then this is a torn suit piece, which is actually very pliable, so it should be very easy to put together. Looks great, it's very simple, but it's doing the job, and we can put it right on top of this thick, hairy Wolverine body. This is great. This is one of those things too where Mondo really knocks it out of the park with paintwork, and you'll see some cell shading across the figure. We're not getting that in this bare chested version, but what we do have is a very nice matte finish with the line work. Up next we have this big chunk from a Sentinel, I believe. This is what is this part? Not his eyeball? I don't know. But I love the details here of the scratches and stuff, so we can clearly stick this onto his claws, so it's like he's holding it up with his claws. All of these little pieces here really adding a lot of life to this action figure. I mean, this is crazy. I'm always impressed. It's like every time I get a Mondo figure, take it out of the box, start looking at everything, I'm just in awe of the artistry behind everything. And we clearly are getting the best sculptors and painters in the business to handle this line, and I'm so thankful for it. And if you're not familiar with Mondo, you can actually follow most of these guys on social media. So if you're into this stuff and you want to see what they're doing, follow them on Instagram. And the final piece in this layer is this specific Sentinel base for Wolverine. We have actually seen something similar to this with Rogue. If you haven't seen that review, you can feel free to watch that after this one. But it's no surprise that this is a continued masterpiece. Just look at the details of this thing. It's so beautiful. The colors are so accurate to the animation. All the details of Wolverine scratching this dude up. This is going to be a wonderful base to have underneath your Wolverine, or really any figure that can stand on it. I've actually used these in reviews in the past with 1/12 scale figures because the size looks great. Okay, up next we have the main event, which is Wolverine and all of his individualized accessories in this set. So give me a moment, I'll be right back. Well, you know what? Editing makes it go from this to this. That was easy. Now, I'm a little bit of a conflicted collector right now, and that, if you can't tell what is causing that, I'll just tell you, if you can't see it. Lack of hands. I am very surprised that we only have 2 extra sets of hands for this Wolverine. Everything about this is like over the top. You get tons of stuff, loads of heads. It's crazy. All the claw pieces, the effects. Only 2 extra sets of hands. I think that's going to maybe haunt me forever because I love to do different poses and this really limits it. Anyway, that's my only complaint thus far. Hopefully that is the only complaint by the end of this video. Back to the stand. This is the base piece, which is unique now. I think the first or second time we've seen this specific base available for the Mondo X-Men. Previously, they were just a black base, but everything going forward, at least with this guy going forward, has had an X-Men logo, and it's beautiful. What is happening in this little plastic container? These are all his claws. You know that because I just said it like 2 seconds ago. So you actually get 8 of these things, so if one breaks, you lose one, no big deal. If you lose or break 2, you know what? That's all right. If you lose or break 3, well, you screwed yourself. So these are pretty straightforward. Definitely a nicer design than what we got in the past. Not that they were that bad, but I think that was a complaint for a lot of people that collected the previous Wolverine. Now that looks fantastic. It just plugs right in. Thanks to that shape, these are easy to plug in. It doesn't just set, you actually push it in a little bit past that little joint piece, so they lock in actually very nicely. So if it falls right out, it's just because you didn't push it in far enough. What I love about this effect piece, not only is the color and how much it's glowing just already on my shelf and in my hands, this is crazy. It's gorgeous. It's almost like it probably reacts to black light in a really cool way. But the claw pieces are their own thing. So it's sculpted into this piece. You don't have to worry about attaching this effect to the claws. You actually just plug the whole thing in, and that's stunning. I mean, just look at the crustiness, I don't know, the glowing effect of Gambit's stuff here. This is stunning. And if you're not aware, this is X-Men 97. Mondo had this kind of shift at some point when the animated series was coming out that things became X-Men 97. And that partially is a marketing thing, that is the new thing, but they do go back and bring in head sculpts like this. So you have the classic huge-eared Wolverine, the downside being that now his little booties don't have the huge kind of ear pieces that we saw in the last figure. So it is kind of this weird blend of, you know, the new and the old. For me, visually, so far, this is an absolute masterpiece of Wolverine, and it's exactly what I want. Could these be a little bit taller? Yeah, but it does not bother me at all. Plus, because I get this alternate X-Men 93 head. Is that what the first year was? Beautiful. Now, mine, the ears are a little curved just because it's a softer plastic and the way it was sitting in the box. But this is an easy fix, just a little bit of heat from a hairdryer, and I can get whatever shape I want out of this. Which one's right? I don't know. The right one or the left one? So that's your X-Men 93. Everything else will be X-Men 97. So the cowls are a little bit shorter here, but the animation style is perfectly captured in this sculpt. This is just what they do. And Alex is an absolute master at this. So whether you're buying X-Men, Batman the Animated Series, or Ghostbusters, Alex Brewer is fantastic at bringing two-dimensional figures to 3 dimensions. And this is just proof of that. I mean, look at this. The black outlines here really are perfectly done, and that's a dangerous thing to do around teeth, but I love the way that Thomas has executed this. Then we have an unmasked head that has that blue color that we love and need. It does look a little purple in my monitor. So if the edited version of this video shows this as being a little purple, it's not. It is definitely a blue tone, and it looks so much like the cartoon. I love it. And the final alternate sculpt here is it gritting teeth without the mask, which again is great. And if we're gonna have that shirtless version, what a perfect thing to put along with that. And you can't have a maskless guy without a mask to lay over his shoulders. So this obviously is a much needed piece, looking fantastic. On by default is just a standard, I don't care about your stuff, Scott. I only care about Jean. Oh, Jean. The matte finish across this thing, stunning. The somewhat lower saturation happening with these colors, again, another one of those things where, like, if this seems super bright in the edited version, it's not. This is almost like a desaturated just a little bit, and it brings this whole thing together. It's such a stunning figure. They really have done it. All the hair markings across the arms, It's all done so well. Now, one thing that ruined the last Wolverine for me, not only his height, but the fact that his hip joints were super loose. Well, one of them. It was like a super wobbly thing. It made it a problem to pose him. I am, of course, concerned about what his joints are going to be like. But before we do that, we got to talk about his hands, because we only got 3 total sets. We got punching hands, or just good classic claw hands. We have these trigger fingers. I mean, it's what they look like. I am not exactly sure. I mean, this is probably for like a specific pose where he's just being a cool guy. And then we got these, which are just gripping for stuff. I don't know. He doesn't really have stuff to hold. The previous version did. He had the picture frame, but that's okay. Articulation on this guy should be certainly better than what we've gotten in the past. Now, it's been in the house a few days after being out in the cold, so I think it's good enough to mess with. I don't think we're really gonna have to warm anything up. So if you have like a saber tooth or Omega Red, this is gonna be great because he can actually look up at them, and once he's defeated them, he can look down upon them. And you can get some tilt out of that joint as well. Arms go out into a perfect T pose. Lovely. The whole joint with this portion can rotate because it all essentially can come off when you want to swap out that body part. You got bicep swivel, and you got double jointed elbows, which is a fairly new thing with the X-Men line. I think Cyclops was the first to have double jointed elbows, and of course we need that with our Wolverine. There's a little bit of paint color difference, but that's really mostly noticeable on camera, and we've seen this happen before with like the clay face from Batman. I think we basically have a skin tone joint, and that's kind of what's throwing these colors off. But in person, honestly, like, if anything, maybe this color's a little different, but it's really not noticeable. Looking at it, I didn't even know it was the case until I looked on camera. We have ball joints for the wrists, which is definitely the way to do it. These do feel like they're on some sort of like, it feels like a ratchet, but I can't imagine that it is. This is where things are going to start to change, I think, with Mondo. What is happening here in this joint, this was definitely new to him, and I remember seeing the advertisements of the promo photos of this guy and really paying attention to this ab cut thing. It's very stiff. I'm sure by the time I get through some posing and things, we'll have a much looser joint here to get an idea of what's happening. We do have a ball joint here at the waist, which does do some serious work. I think that's going to help a lot for poses. And the legs, let's see, these are some super tight joints. This is almost as if somebody saw my video and said, let's do the exact opposite of a loose joint and have a very tight one. Oh boy, it's a little scary. I wouldn't expect complete splits out of this guy anyway. I think this is basically the max of that range, and then we should be able to rotate on that ball joint as well. So it is a very, very tight ball joint, so just be careful with that. Obviously, you don't want to have any problems. However, if you do have a problem, this is one of the things with Mondo. They will replace either the part or the entire figure if it comes down to it. This is one of the best companies to deal with business-wise because customer service side, they actually listen and take care of you. Double jointed knees. There's no swivel down the boot area. Actually, there is. I thought for sure there wouldn't be. Look at that. We have a swivel on that portion. Just be careful because these are premium painted products, so as you start to work these things a lot, you could start scuffing things up and have paint transfer, but that's what happens when you have a premium painted product. And then we have a pretty standard ankle. If we want to swap around that body part, this should be pretty easy. So let's take this body. We're going to plug it in. This is all very easy to do, which is kind of crazy. I did not expect it to be so easy. I'm not 100% sure that I have the shirt on the right way, but I don't think it's going to matter. You should be able to just kind of do whatever you want with this. And there you go. Sexy Wolverine with his shirt off, looking fantastic. It's just crazy that you can even do this in the first place. I mean, they really have packed this thing in with huge chunks of plastic. I mean, you almost could build another Wolverine. So a gorgeous setup. I am so happy with this, and it's going to be really hard to find which head I want to keep on this Wolverine. So that being said, what do you do when you have an alternate head that you love to death, but you're not putting it on the figure? You just throw it in the box or in a drawer or something? No, you do this.
Let's go, Bub.
This thing is available right now to buy. This incredibly limited options because it is handmade. It's made with wood, with hands. And then that allows you to take whatever head sculpts you want and apply them in whatever combination you want to give you the perfect setup that looks like that comic book cover. I love mine. This is the wall hanging version, and you can get the desk mounted version with a tray compartment to store even more accessories. And then you get all of these peg pieces to set up the best option that works for you based on the characters you have. Now, these are all the same size. Then you have these two, these, and this. And they're all based around specific characters like Rogue and long-haired options like Omega Red. So this should work with everything that is available right now. And then, of course, we have some new things on the way like Storm. These over here are blank space hole fillers. So once you get all your heads in place, you can just take one of these, simply plug it in, and then cover up that blank. And then if you ever need to take it out, you just pop it from the backside. It's very easy. It's all wood and it's made by hand. And then you're gonna have like those natural imperfections of wood, but this is the perfect option for collectors that want a premium item handcrafted specifically for your Mondo figures. And based on all of these holes, it really is just kind of an almost unlimited option of how you could display these things. But it's enough that if you have a large-haired figure like Rogue, you can find the perfect placement so that it actually lines up and doesn't put her in the way of the others. This is honestly one of the best things in my collection at this point, not only because it's so well crafted, but because it is handcrafted. I love having custom pieces like this in my collection. It really helps stand out. Grab yours today while you can, and let us know which combination of heads from Mondo X-Men line is perfect for yours. Well, there you have it, folks. This is not only one of the best Wolverines of all time, this is one of the best Mondo figures that I own. And did they redeem themselves from the first Wolverine? Yes, I think that's very clear. This is stunning. And they didn't pay me to talk about this one at all. I paid them for me to talk about it and then tell you to, that's crazy. If you want to see some other Mondo X-Men get reviewed like the Rogue, then be sure to click that link right there. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.